Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to day 3 of the connection. Hopefully you have enjoyed all of the sessions over the past 3 days. We certainly have. Um, this is the session titled Mitigating the Impact of the Enrollment Cliff for Community Colleges. We are joined by my colleague, the one and only Christy Phillips. She's Senior Director of Client Success here at Carnegie. So before we get started, there's a few things that you probably heard me say if you've been on any of the other sessions, or some of the other hosts have said this, but want to make sure everybody knows the session will be recorded, and we'll be providing links to the recordings to all attendees by the end of the week, or at the latest sometime early next week. You are all on mute and off camera, while the streaming window that you see offers both the Whova and the Zoom functionality for chats. We ask that you use the Zoom chat for any Q&A that you might have. This allows our speakers and our support teams to efficiently respond to your questions. At the end of the session, Christy does have some time that we'll leave for any Q&A as time does allow. So please, as you get questions, you can pop them into the Zoom chat feature, and we will get to the questions at that time. Again, if you have any needs or any questions before the end of the day with anything within the conference, you can email us at conferences, that's with an S, at carnegiehighered.com, or you can message us through Whova at the Ask Organizers Anything section on the community board. And we absolutely would love everyone to be social during these sessions. So use the hashtag #TheConnection and tag at Carnegie HQ for any posts that you share about today's session. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to my good friend and colleague, Christy Phillips. Take it away, Christy, all yours.
Fantastic. Thank you, Kevin. And good morning or good afternoon, wherever you may be located across our great US. But yeah, as Kevin said, today I'm really going to be diving into the discussion of talking about, mitigating the impact of the enrollment cliff. I know that this is something that has been a salient topic for quite some time. And, what I always like to say is, we know that this is happening. It may impact us, it may not, depending on where we're at regionally. But what are some strategic marketing solutions or ideas that we should, really be putting some pen to paper and some thought on as we socialize our strategic planning, our enrollment and marketing plans on the community and technical colleges that you may serve at? And so without further ado, as Kevin said, I am a Senior Director of Client Success, so I have the privilege of specifically working with community and technical colleges across a variety of different capacities. And so with that, I really do hear a lot of the challenges, the opportunities, the creative ideas that are coming out of a lot of the thought leadership of your peers in this space. And then also the Some College No Credential population is near and dear to my heart. I focused my doctoral research on that. And how do we truly serve that Some College No Credential audience who has a lot of different factors that are either hindering them or misconceptions of why they may think that returning to a post-secondary experience may not be attainable, and how do we support those students re-enrolling on those campuses? So I always like to start when I'm having this conversation, really highlighting and sharing this slide, because this is a slide that I'm sure some of you have seen before, but this is showing that we're facing the enrollment cliff and feeling that full impact by 2026 is really what had been predicted previously. That is when the number of traditional age population college students is expected to decline up to 15% in some areas. And, with that, it may even just be exacerbated and really had been accelerated in terms of the post-pandemic landscape that we do have as well. Something else that has been prevalent in recent news from Gra, who is that economics individual who really predicted this enrollment cliff and really coined it, he has really now seen with updated census data and birth rates, he has seen that the population was originally predicted to start recovering and increasing around the mid-2030s. But in recent months, the census data really is showing that it's forecasting that the number of 18-year-olds is really projected to crest at that 3.5 million, and there is really no expectation of it ever recovering and getting higher within the next century. So with that being said, there's still plenty of opportunities and potential to really see how we refine strategies, really dial in our targeting for talking to different audiences, and how we can help change lives for the better on the community and technical colleges. And so I always like to paint the picture and show this also as an example when you're thinking and talking with your enrollment colleagues, other marketing directors, boards, your executive leadership on the college you serve at. But this really depicts how it's impacting the four-year landscape. And so this really shows that, elite four-year institutions, these have been well-established institutions that have never really impacted and seen a decrease in enrollment since the pandemic. So they truly don't face the same challenges that other regional four-years and community and technical colleges have. The reason why I share that in this space is more specifically because those regional four-year colleges, as they start to brace and have impact of declining enrollment, they too are also going to be dialing in their recruitment strategies. Some of them very well may have still had the old archaic build it and they will come mentality, but now they are feeling the squeeze of that declining enrollment and maybe encroaching into your service area as they are thinking of different strategies. So that really shows and leads some thought into really needing to be able to dial in your strategies so that you're able to help combat enrollment numbers in the future. So today, with that landscape kind of pictured, what we're really going to dive into and talk about is successfully targeting non-traditional students and new target markets. So really focusing on those adult learners and how do we target them. Expanding online program enrollment. What are some key opportunities that you can really dive into to communicate that out to prospective students? Expanding community and employer relationships. What are some ways that you may be able to dial in those strategies? Enhancing dual enrollment conversion, and also capitalizing on existing student data. There is a wealth of knowledge that you have already on your campus, and how do you leverage that for your digital marketing strategies? And so what we'll really dive into first is kind of discussing and recognizing the characteristics of adult learners and creating targeted messaging that resonates with their needs and goals. And so you'll see a common theme throughout this webinar today. I really love to front load conversations I have with statistics. Coming from the campus side, I always erred on the side of thinking that data helps you have those hard conversations with executive leaders who may not be in the trenches of marketing every day or seeing what you're seeing. So how can we have some really succinct data points to be able to communicate and depict that landscape? So one of those really is talking about, what does that some college no credential population look like? And so when you see about 18 to 64-year-olds, there's about 37 million of those nationwide. And so really life events trigger these some college no credential students to return to college rather than a fixed event like high school graduation. So there's many different communication points that you might be able to reach out and engage with those students with the right message at the right time. Something that has been very positive as we look at all of these declining high school birth rates or, declining, numbers of enrollment is that we saw this population specifically had over a 9% increase in re-enrollment in the 2023 academic year. And so that information comes directly from the National Student Clearinghouse. So it really is a positive indicator that whatever had disrupted this population's persistence of continuing their education, they are now seeing this as an opportunity to re-enroll and finish or get that credential or certification or transfer to a four-year institution. And so this is a positive upswing that we really haven't seen before. So with that being said, I like to then tailor it and talk about, over half of these students in this some college no credential population, half of them return to the same school that they previously attended. So that really is something to keep in mind as we continue this discussion today about how do we leverage our students who started and stopped out at our college campus. And since they already have that familiarity and that recognition to re-enroll at the same college. And so it's great. I know I have always said, working from regional campuses myself, there's this national average, there's all of this information that's great, but really, how does that impact me in my region, my recruitment area and service area? And so really just wanted to show and highlight the re-enrollment rates by states. If you're unfamiliar, the National Student Clearinghouse does have a great dashboard that you really can leverage to dive into data within a specific region or also a state, so you can see how your area truly does compare to the some college no credential data and population that the National Clearinghouse manages. And so when we're thinking about different ways to target adult learners, refine our audiences, we truly here at CLARUS really see this benefit of having an audience-centric approach. So this really does come to thinking of persona building. So really being able to clearly define who is that audience, whether it is for a specific program, it is with the audience population in totality on your campus, but really diving into ways that we can think of who are the students currently sitting on our campus and how do we find more students like that. One of the great examples of that is with persona building. I always like to, when I'm working with marketing directors, have them work with their program director or their faculty for a key program and ask them, do you know what the hobbies are that your students have? Have you heard your students talking about different things that they do outside of the classroom? More often than not, what we've seen, especially in career and technical education programs, is that a lot of those individuals have very similar hobbies. Those hobbies can turn into demographic and psychographic variables that we can actually leverage and use when we are targeting students and building a digital marketing campaign. Another way is really to leverage your data. And so that could be looking at students who have stopped out and you're wanting to retarget and re-engage them. So we have a lot of colleges that run different types of campaigns truly targeted to their stop out population. Hitting them with a message that really says, here is your opportunity. We're removing a barrier, whether it is a scholarship that's helping with supporting cost or giving them some type of opportunity to know that you are thinking about them. Something we've seen in the campaigns that we've ran is that it's kind of a sweet spot of between 3 to 5 years of when we really see that somebody has stopped out, been able to get back into the groove and the rhythm of whatever hindered them from continuing their education to then re-enroll. So if a college that we're working with has never, done a stop out campaign, that is something we always recommend. We've had a lot of partners who maybe have done calling campaigns or email outreach, but really haven't leveraged a digital marketing tactic with those stop outs. So, being able to incorporate that in some type of strategy really helps get them on their devices while they are engaging with different apps or websites and letting them see that message and building that reputation and familiarity with you. So that really kind of gives a high-level overview of different types of audience targeting and development that you can do with the persona building and the audience with the data that you already have. But here is also some nice different areas that you really can focus on when you're thinking of traits of an adult learner. So it really is important to recognize different demographic and psychographic variables of adult learners because both of them really do play into how you build your digital marketing strategy to engage with your adult learner audience. So I like to think of these 3 different buckets of ways that you can build out different audiences that you want to target. whether that's going old school and putting pen to paper, or really having a conversation with a different partner, such as CLARUS or anybody else you may be working with, to really think of this is the different types of variables that I want to target with this specific message for the campaign that I have. So motivators can also include improving job prospects, changing careers, completing an unfinished degree. Behavioral really is going to be the desire of flexible learning, comfortable with digital tools, but maybe need a little bit of a nudge and some help and support for different types of ways to learn about how to re-enroll or how to enroll for the first time. And then also the decision to enroll typically is influenced by costs and time commitment and return on investment. So knowing those different topics really can help with the communication strategy and the messages that you have on your ads and your campaigns that you serve. So now that we've talked about the traits of an adult learner, I want to highlight some additional platforms that you really can use to leverage and build an adult audience campaign. So when we're looking at, we've already talked about your own data, but more importantly, there's also different channels and external data that you can use and leverage when you're building your campaigns. And then also partner data. So that can be data that you source from external factors, whether that's going to be through a list purchase, if it's going to be through an audience builder campaign itself, whether it's something you're running in-house or with a third-party partner. One of the examples I really love to highlight when I'm talking about channel and external data is going to be different things in the search space. So when you're looking at SEMrush or Screaming Frog or Answer the Public, these different types of tools really allow you to see what search queries, what are different ways that students or different web audiences are searching online. Because seeing what those common searches are can really help you tailor and hone in on a digital campaign that's really going to highlight and resonate with your audience as well. So it's helping break through the noise because you're already going to be delivering them something that they have a need and an interest for. So now that we've seen these different types of ways that we can target and build our audience, let's talk about the different ways of messaging and platforms that we can run those campaigns on. So whenever I'm talking about digital strategies and tactics, I really always like to first and foremost really hit on the power of programmatic advertising when it comes to building your digital marketing strategy. For those that may be a little unfamiliar with what programmatic is, it is ran through a demand-side platform, and it truly is an automated way for building and managing digital ads instantly. Specifically in the community and technical college space, we really use this as a foundational pillar in our strategies because it allows us to target in a very specific area. So we're staying within service area bounds, and we're able to go across devices and leverage different types of demographic and other types of psychographic variables. So we're able to target off of lifestyle categories, and then that really ties into how I was earlier talking about ways that you can learn from your faculty or others on campus of what kind of hobbies, what kind of interests do our audience or our students have. And that can be layered into a audience campaign. Something else that it really truly allows you to do is reach your broadest audience by delivering ads across display, video, connected TV. There's lots of different ways that your audience can consume your content. So that is why we truly do say that it is going to be one of those foundational pillars when you're looking at building an audience-centric campaign, because we're going to be able to leverage and lean into when they're engaging on their different digital devices and being able to go across different platforms, such as a web experience or in an app as well. Something else that I would really like to highlight is as more and more individuals are cutting the ties with cable, connected TV has really grown as a popular way of doing branding and awareness type strategies to really help students be able to see and resonate with the college. We also sometimes think that since we are locally in the area, maybe our whole community knows who we are, but maybe we have a unique message that they aren't aware of, or we've been onboarding new programs, or we have a flexible learning style. Connected TV, for example, can be a great way of really highlighting those exciting changes, or really ensuring that your service area knows what is going on your college campus. Another thing I really enjoy talking about when we're thinking of the adult learner audience is going to be Meta. And so Meta really does provide a sophisticated way of targeting. So this includes interests, lists that maybe you have of your own personal data or a purchase list that you've had, retargeting and lookalike audiences. And so there's a lot of different platforms that maybe have similar features, but what we have really seen is that Meta's extensive data and algorithms often lead to more refined audience segments. So I really always like to highlight and kind of show you, if you haven't played on their advertising dashboard, here are some ways that you really can hone in different types of advanced targeting options. You can even highlight and target off of changes. You know, if somebody's moved into your service area or they have shared that they have gotten a new job, you know, and maybe you have stackable credential programs that resonate with that industry. There's lots of different ways that you can play with the tools on Meta's platforms and be able to engage. Something else that if you're, for example, looking for a lead generation campaign of capturing names and contact information, leveraging Meta's in-platform advertisement allows you a great way to capture that data because it is directly in the platform and they're not having to jump to a landing page and disrupt their social engagement on the Meta platform itself. And a lot of times also that information is already going to get pre-populated based off of their social information that is logged into the platform itself. So especially since we're talking about the over 18 audience of adult learners, that is definitely a tool and a strategy worth leveraging as well. When we're also talking about different ways to engage and have a conversation, something that we have seen gain a popularity in the community and technical college space is going to be LinkedIn conversation ads. So this really is a way to create a personalized and interactive experience for users, which can often lead to high conversion rates because it is a dynamic conversation versus just a one-time, are they interested in that exact moment at that exact time? And so with conversation ads, it can lead to higher engagement rates than traditional email marketing because it's allowing for the individual to gain that brand awareness and that familiarity. And it also allows you to generate high quality leads. And so with multiple calls to action that you can build into these different types of campaigns, it gives users a range of responses. Maybe they're not ready to commit to giving their information at that very first touch point, but you have also put in a call to action button that says, are you interested in learning a little bit more? And being able to have that conversation evolve within LinkedIn and then ultimately getting that individual's information. So on a later slide, I will talk about different ways to leverage LinkedIn in terms of audience targeting, but I really wanted to just show one of the ways that you can build a campaign and have dynamic conversation with an individual within the LinkedIn platform itself. And so as we round out the ways of discussing how display ads, paid media can help you really build an adult learner audience, I want to highlight the ability to build lookalike audiences. So this can be accomplished for both programmatic display and social media platforms like Meta, Snapchat, LinkedIn, and TikTok. And it really does help with target efficiency. So it's allowing you to reach prospective students similar to the current enrollees that you have on campus. A good example of this would be if we had a college's list. Let's say it is their current student list or it is students who have applied. We're able to upload that information into the platform itself and create and mirror a similar audience that has those same characteristics and being able to deliver ads to that population. And so that really allows us also to enhance the personalization of the message itself. We already know some indicators of maybe they have enrolled in the college previously, or they have worked in a similar career field, we can then tailor that content truly to resonate with that audience. And it really helps you also have a different data point of, leveraging your existing student data to optimize campaigns as well. One of the other things I really like to highlight, specifically when we're talking about community and technical colleges and lookalike audiences, is the scalability for regional outreach. So since you are often bound to specific regions and service areas, lookalike targeting allows you to scale outreach with relevant areas while focusing on individuals likely to consider educational options. So it ultimately can help you be cost effective when you are doing very specific geographically bound campaigns. And so when we're talking about lookalike audiences, here are some of the key messages that we really think resonate truly with that audience, since we know they are very similar to the list of students that you have on your campus or have had on your campus. So really being able to highlight student success stories. Students want to see students that maybe had similar challenges and opportunities that they've overcome so that those students can picture themselves truly on your campus. Career relevant education. We're seeing that stackable credentials, professional certifications, all of these are pathways that community and technical colleges serve, and students may not be aware of those options that are available regionally within their location. So being able to highlight stories like that to lookalike audiences. And then flexible learning options. Some students may continue to think that there is still, I have to be on campus. They're not aware of asynchronous or hybrid modality. So being able to paint the picture and have that story through your digital campaigns really can help change the mindset that students may have of thinking that college isn't for them simply because they can't commit to going to campus, on a Tuesday, Thursday, or a Monday, Wednesday, Friday sequence. And then also financial aid and support. Communicate how other students have been re-enrolling on campus. What are those different funding pathways? Does your state or does your college have a specific scholarship program that really helps students re-enroll? Being able to leverage that as well in campaigns really helps with enrollment strategies. And so I truly would be remiss if I was talking about the adult learners and different ways to target them if I really didn't hit quickly on paid search. And so paid search really does allow you to have high intent students that are already searching for education as a way to really be able to capture that interest and show them what your college has to offer. And so paid search truly has been proven to be effective in driving leads and enrollment for community colleges because you're capturing the interest of those students who are already leaning into their student search journey online. I also really like to highlight the power of paid search for community and technical colleges because you're then getting at the forefront of students who are searching for related content. And oftentimes, since there are many different pathways and credentials and programs that are offered on your campus, search engine optimization sometimes is a little bit of a challenge on the community and technical college campus because there are so many similar words and different ways that your website is currently being indexed by Google or Bing or any other search engine. And so being able to capture that search real estate ahead of other paid ads or other organic content truly can help remove the barriers to drive conversion. And so being able to leverage tactics and tools such as Google's Keyword Planner to look at historical and forecasted data to identify relevant keywords, different match types, and one of my favorites is negative keywords because that's ensuring that your ads don't show on irrelevant searches. This is also really popular and is important for community and technical colleges since oftentimes your campus may serve as a community hub, whether that is different types of events being hosted on campus that are not relevant to enrollment, or especially in election year, if there's a lot of different folks on your campus. Thinking of things like that and being able to ensure that you've got a negative keyword library so that your ads are only being served to that audience that has that intent to enroll is really an important factor to consider. And so when we're thinking of responsive search ads, I really like to highlight that this allows you to have multiple headlines and multiple descriptions to really build out a paid search campaign. Without getting into the weeds, paid search can seem very overwhelming, very hard to tackle, but I always like to take a step back and really think truly that at the end of the day, paid search, the name says itself. You know, people in Google they're not being paid unless somebody clicks on your ad. So they are going to use different types of algorithms to really ensure that they are serving that right content for somebody to want to click on your ad. So being able to have responsive ads allows you to have different headlines and descriptions and really allow the platform to find those combinations that are going to be able to best serve your audience to get them to click on that ad. And then I really want to round out the discussion on paid search by just talking about ad extensions really quickly. You know, this really allows you to have more real estate on that search query itself when somebody is searching, and really having different site links that you're able to encompass on your PPC ad. And so site links is a great way to provide other information to prospective students who might be looking for information that helps with their student search journey. So that includes information about financial aid, transfer credit calculators, how to apply and enroll. Maybe it's academic calendar to see the different start dates. You know, you're giving a person a super easy way to directly navigate information they want to learn. This can also be very helpful if maybe you're in the middle of a website optimization or are limited into ways that you can help remove barriers on your website. You can then have a nice succinct place to really direct students to those key areas that they need for enrollment. And so that is an opportunity to really think of when you're talking about adult learners. Shifting gears a little bit, talking about expanding online program enrollment. We've talked about recognizing the characteristics of adult learners. And so one of the ways then that we can really hone in on is talking about online modality to really help entice and get students onto campus. So I definitely have some more statistics as we talk about a new topic of area, but really primarily online institutions are increasingly a popular sector for some college no credential re-enrollees. So when we're thinking of that, think about ways that you can combat that of somebody who's maybe searching for one of those large online entities is starting to seem more appealing, but you may very well have asynchronous courses or other ways that would be a flexible learning opportunity for them. And then something else to really just highlight with that second statistic right there is really that the shift in the mindset for both new students and current students of thinking of online being a quality education has changed to be positive. So even if you have just a singular, pathway or different courses that are available online, being able to outwardly communicate that to your audiences can help support enrollment efforts as well on your campus. And so really be sure to highlight those offerings. Many community colleges are continuing to offer at least half of their courses online in response to student demand post-pandemic. So think about those stories and opportunities that you have on your campus and being able to highlight that. And so one of our research partners is UPSIA and looking at online adult education. And there are community colleges that are a part and members of UPSIA. So really I wanted to just share this as a tool in your resources to kind of think of the different platforms and marketing channels that online learning is using to drive measurable results in the online space. So when you're thinking of different paid social media advertising marketing departments commonly utilize, no surprise seeing Facebook up at top, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok. And then as we shift gears for what are the most effective marketing channels for communicating online learning, degree programs or courses, paid search is one of those top ones. Organic content, so looking at your ways that your website is driving that traffic through organic searches, email marketing, and organic search. And so really when you're thinking of different ways to leverage and communicate this information is a helpful tool to help you kind of think of how to effectively be competitive in the space if you know that there is others within your service area that are marketing and targeting in your area about different types of online learning platforms. And then when we're talking about expanding community and employer relationships, there's a lot of ways that you can cultivate and build awareness at the employer level, ways to leverage that data to hone in and target about specific student audiences. And so I'm going to talk about in this section some of the ways that we have seen or some ideas that we have that can really help you dial in your strategy. So when we're thinking of expanding community and employer relationships, I think a lot of times we assume that our different, industries in the area know what we have to offer, and sometimes they may have an idea or they know that you're there, but maybe they truly don't know about different innovations or stackable credentials or things that you have. So being able to highlight those advantages, and so that can even include continuing education and professional development programs, really those upskilling opportunities in credentialing and micro credentials, increasing the flexibility of the program delivery. Maybe they don't know that you've changed the modality and they have this one perception of you from maybe 5, 6 years ago. So being able to target those employers and being able to share and highlight the changes so they're able to have that personal referral recommendation to their employees. And then being able to really develop targeted partnerships with local employers. I always like to say, talking to your Chamber of Commerce, your economic workforce department and development in your community, being able to see what are the common conversations they're hearing, where are the gaps that they're not getting, service or information when it comes to workforce learning, and being able to then see what programs or what opportunities you already have on your campus that you can help really have that two-way communication with. And then really being able to use data to identify key sectors and employers. So some of those common ones are going to be labor market analysis and student and employer feedback. So being able to use this information that you may already very well have or somebody on your college campus does to help hone in and dial in that strategy. One of the ways, and I know that this is a state-by-state variable, is really going to be applied bachelor's degrees and hireability. There are some fantastic statistics out there about the employee, outcomes and rate of students who have graduated with an applied bachelor's degree. Since this is still fairly a newer concept for a lot of individuals, they truly don't know what an applied bachelor's degree is. So being able, if this is something that is offered on your college campus, be able to really highlight those high placement rates, the increased earnings, and the employer demand. They are viewing at the industry level that these applied bachelor's degrees really are graduating students that are equipped for the workforce. So being able to talk about these programs and specific campaigns really can help elevate and provide that awareness that maybe has not been there before for students to really see that an applied bachelor's degree is attainable for them. And something one of our good research partners and friend, Jim Fong, he spoke yesterday about some adult learner trends. So if you did not catch that session yesterday, definitely catch the recording of it, since I know he was going through some great data and insights, specifically on some recent research on the adult learners. But what they have seen more and more based off of just economic variables is that micro credentials, stackable credentials are truly the pathways that are really helping with enrollment numbers. So if this is something that maybe you filed away for a later date with campus conversations and stakeholders, now really is the time to bring those conversations back so that you're able to be competitive, especially since there are other things online such as Coursera or other types of online asynchronous learning that maybe don't better serve an institutional relationship that maybe your college can provide to students and employees based off of some workforce learning or different types of pathways that can lead to better careers or different academic pathways as well. So definitely be dialing in and having those conversations. And then when we're talking about different ways with the career and workforce and employee conversations, LinkedIn definitely is a very powerful platform that you can use to engage with conversations. Not only does it allow for precise targeting to reach execs or individuals that are maybe changing careers, it really can also allow you to network with employers. You can connect with local businesses and organizations to explore partnerships, internship opportunities, and job placement for students. So it really does highlight collaborative initiatives that you can have as some dynamic conversations. And even if maybe your department isn't necessarily equipped or having the responsibility to engage with employers, sharing that information and having a conversation with a colleague who is on campus can be very helpful and valuable. Being able to share industry insights and trends. If your college is able to and has information, post articles and content that highlight trends in various industries related to your college's programs. This truly can position the college as knowledgeable and committed to preparing students for the workforce. And this can be organic content that you're producing and putting out there. So it's not even a paid effort, but being able to have that conversation within your community. And then also feature instructor and faculty expertise. Highlight those individuals' qualifications and expertise in their fields. That really can help be competitive when you're talking about, competing against regional publics or other entities in terms of training and having the career outcomes that your students are seeking. So that is just some of the ways that you're able to really leverage LinkedIn. And then whether you're incorporating it as a part of your paid strategy or not, the audience data provided in this platform can be useful as a tool for both paid and organic strategies to reach your target audiences. I like to say that you can use this to kind of see what is that landscape in your specific area. So being able to look at their targeting capabilities and see how many are fitting into that category that are on LinkedIn can help you kind of have conversations on campus of what might be some new untapped opportunities that we can put into market organically or paid. And then as we are coming to a close of talking about different ways to really talk about adult learners, online learning, employer and workforce relationships, even with the dwindling number of high school students, the ability to engage and target this population for dual enrollment, whether it's the dual enrollment students you currently have on your campus or seeking to get them to come to campus for a dual enrollment experience, is something to not be overlooked in your college's marketing strategy. So when we're thinking of that, we have seen that the average high school graduation rate tends to be on an upswing, which certainly can be very helpful and insightful when we're looking at ways to target those that are coming directly from high school to be able to serve them as well as a student population. So this can also include what are your current tactics for early exposure? So even thinking at the middle school level, engagement events on campus, discussing the need for colleges to cultivate early relationships with high school students as concurrent and dual enrolled really helps build that brand awareness and establish a positive student experience. They are already then becoming familiar with you, so there is less warming up that you have to do later on when maybe they're a junior or senior and they're starting to get a whole bunch of different messages from a lot of other post-secondary colleges and universities. So this can really help increase the probability of them matriculating after high school graduation on your campus. Something that came out in a recent report within the last 2 weeks from CCRC is going to be that the high school community colleges dual enrollment students returning for at least one term to the same college after their first year of high school is 1/3 of the population. This really does speak to that there is a population opportunity to really increase that conversion and that relationship after high school to have them continue on their campus. So when I see this, I think of what are those messaging strategies that we are using to get into the homes to talk to those students about continuing and furthering their pathway on campus. Being able to use programmatic advertising as to being able to go directly into the homes of high school students is a very strong and popular tactic that we use with geofencing. And so with that, you can also add in a layer to where you are delivering segmented creative. So mom, dad, other influencers in the house of a certain age are receiving more of a way to support their student in the college search journey, a creative advertisement and maybe a landing page. And those high school students are receiving a different type of ad. Being able to have those different types of ads can help curate a conversation to really help influence and support those high school students enrolling. In that same report from CCRC, they were showing that while 36% of those dual enrolled students who enrolled in college within their first year of high school completed a bachelor's degree in 4 years, only 28% of those were low income. And when you look at Black and Hispanic dual enrollees graduation rates, they are lower than other populations. So when I see a statistic like that, I think about what resources on a college campus can you communicate up front through different types of digital ads can really help show the awareness and the support that students, first generation underserved populations can really have. Does your college have a TRIO program? Maybe running a TRIO program geared message towards those different types of demographic variables can really help show the support. You know, first generation students often do not know what is that next step after high school graduation. They've had somebody guiding them the whole way. Having campaigns that really talk about the different ways that your campus is supporting them can really help, hopefully boost those types of conversions for students who are seeking and are interested, but maybe don't know what that next step is. And then lastly, when we're talking about enhancing marketing and outreach, here are some of the ways to really highlight to this student population, you know, campaigns that are aimed at those students, parents, and influencers, and showcasing the benefits of different types of dual enrollment programs, or even what is that next step for them to complete their associates or that certification, depending on what type of college courses they were taking while in high school. Truly paint that picture with a campaign strategy versus just, you know, fall enrollment, 2026, here's the deadlines and dates. Have a story that is continuing through what their experience has already been on campus. And then being able to leverage tactics such as addressable geofencing, social media, and other ways to engage. We have seen strong results both when we're engaging with the under 18 audience with Snapchat and TikTok. These are two different platforms that have had strong performance and have not had the audience restrictions that Meta or other platforms have had. So it really has been a good way for them to build awareness and affinity with your different audiences. And so last but not least, really just want to culminate everything that I have shared, since it's been a lot of information, to really just reaffirm that you do have existing student data on your campus, and there are different ways to strategize and leverage that. Truly, it is easier to retain a student than to attract a brand new student. And so I always find this to be a powerful statistic to think about and challenge yourself to find new ways to engage with your data on your campus. But, it takes about 5 to 25 times the cost to attract a new student versus it is to retain one or re-engage with one at a different point in their career or life journey. So being able to think of targeted list of graduates and encourage them to enroll in upper level programs or earn stackable credentials, dialing in your stop out messaging, thinking of different ways that you really can leverage that. If you feel that a list has been exhausted, maybe you have tried a lot of different stop out efforts, being able to kind of use that data to help you inform a lookalike audience that will be a different liked audience that you can then use for a digital strategy. And so here's also some different ideas that you can leverage for looking at audience targeting. So being able to leverage that student data, some of the examples can be a mid-career professionals, looking at healthcare, IT, and manufacturing. Look to see what the industry in your service area truly has going on, being able to target to help upskill them to that next level within their industry. And then targeting industry areas with the high demand for those particular programs or stackable credentials can be a way to revitalize a student list that you may have on campus. And so, since this is a lot of information, really just bringing it all home with kind of an implementation timeline to really talk about. And so, really truly starting with those goals. What are your pressing goals for the upcoming year? Identifying who those audiences are. What we really pride ourselves on is thinking it's an audience first strategy. So, being able to define that audience and then deliver and decide what message we want to reach them with, and then seeing what channels and platforms are going to be best to deliver that message. And then ensuring that we have a lot of data analytics set up to be able to measure the success of those campaigns and adjust and optimize. Being able to then have a campaign that is very specific and being able to show year over year data can be a huge success point for your campus as well. And then also, last but not least, really just a marketing plan checklist. I know that when I was on the campus side and I was a mighty marketing team of 1.5, it was always challenging to think of how am I going to tackle all that I need to. So being able to really just end this session with highlighting a marketing plan checklist so that you can see some of the essentials that we see are helpful to ensure a smooth, organized, and goal-oriented approach to campaign execution. So with the intentionality of showing that this hopefully increases efficiency by laying out each step at this checklist can, streamline the process of saving time, and chances of overlooking important details can be reduced. And then also, being able to support that strategic focus, knowing that a lot of things evolve and change, those other duties as assigned continuously grow. So this really keeps the team focused on achieving marketing goals and adhering to the overall strategy. And so I will pause there to see if there are any questions. Kevin, I don't know if any questions have come up since I've been chock full of lots of information.
No questions at this time right now, but such a an important topic. I know in my former life, working in admissions, I would always make sure that I inform parents and students about the importance of how a community college could play a role in the next step, or what the path that the student may be looking at if they weren't really sure of what they wanted to do. So this is an absolutely important presentation, and thank you so much for it. And thank you all who attended today's session. And again, the enormous thank you to you, Christy, for putting this together. So throughout today's webinar, Christy shared a lot of effective digital strategies for community colleges to absolutely help you all mitigate the enrollment challenges that you have ahead. As a next step, this is something that's pretty amazing. As a next step, we're going to offer a 20% discount on our GA4 Analytics Startup Package. This is exclusively for community colleges and for those who are our connection attendees today. This package does include a property audit and a custom reporting dashboard to help you better understand and act on your digital performance. So you can just scan this QR code to book a free 30-minute strategy consultation and claim that discount. So again, please take advantage of this, because I think this is something that is certainly something that's out there that can help. As many of you probably know, CLARUS is a Carnegie company, and we're leaders in higher education digital marketing. And we're thrilled and honored to be able to support community colleges and their advertising efforts, and provide free resources like we did today. There's still a few more sessions for the rest of the day. Today's the last day of the connection. So go back to Hoover, check out the remaining sessions that are available for the rest of the day. Christy, again, thank you so much for your time. There is a session coming up next at 1 o'clock. It's on brand, so it's called Brand Activation, where intention and discipline meet, and that gets started at 1 o'clock. So, so join us at 1 o'clock. Christy, big thank you to you. Everybody else that's left out there, thank you for joining us, and have a great rest of your day and a great weekend. Bye.
Thank you.